Hey guys, I wanted to show you this flower bed, and this is called peony. I have two plants there. The reason we have this ring is because the flowers get very heavy and they just fall, lean and almost fall to the ground and getting dirty, so they don't show very well unless they're kept upright. So that's the reason. They're there. These azaleas, they need to trim them. They bloom early spring, so they're not here. These hydrangeas, I planted 3 of them in between azaleas because I want, when they grow, just not, they're not even they're barely a year old, so that's why they're tiny. That's another one. I think I was talking about how, in my earlier video, I was talking about how a gladiolite do not stay upright. I'll show you how. See? This one's falling, this one's falling, this one's falling, that one's completely almost in the ground. I have to take that out. See these? Oh, they if they're not on their own, they don't show well. Not only that, when they fall on other plants, they get so busy you don't even know, you can't even distinguish between flowers. And you guys, you can see how these I'll show you how they are. See? And if you see here, the buds are, no, sorry, the roots are about just a deep. That's why they can't hold these heavy stems. And when they're flowering, you can forget about it. The flowers weigh them completely. See, you can see those are leaning to. See, so it fell yesterday and I stabilized it, but that wasn't enough. I have to put more soil and make sure it doesn't do that. This stuff gave so many blooms until about a week ago. It bloomed for over like a month and a half. So now it's almost done. Probably in a week's time that'll be done. And this one I planted, this whole row I had, what is that, this whole row from here to over there I had lavender. And lavender, after 4 years or so, it gets woody because it grows out, the branches, they start to show and it doesn't look good. So I took them out completely and I attempted to put some put some vegetables here, and I didn't like them because these vegetables don't look good with the flowers, and so I took them out. And the next year I didn't plant them, and this early spring I planted. These are all new. And see, these are tiny flowers, but they're so beautiful. They don't have any scent. They have like a very mild scent, but not enough that you can smell it when you get close to the plant. You have to really sniff the flowers, which I've done now. And see, you see how this plant, there's a gap. That's because my dog, she must have jumped into that. She loves to jump into the bushes and sit over the plants. I think that's because they're cold. They're so but they're almost everywhere it's cold, but she still prefers sitting on these plants. And because she's my baby, I can say anything to her. She won't listen, and even if I do, I just feel like, okay, let her. Hey, there you go. See that tiny frog? You can see that it's not even the size of the flower. It's probably not less than half of the size of the flower. We have these tiny frogs in our area. I've never seen a big frog or toad that we used to see in India. So these are really tiny. We can barely see them. Okay, and this baby is just, these are the last blooms. I've cut all the spent ones. I have to cut these, so that's done. Another thing I did is plant new lavender, but I didn't make a row. I didn't plant them in a row because I just wanted one area. So I planted 3 here. They need to be planted at least about 1.5 feet distance apart, because by next year this is going to grow and fill up that space, and they like to have breathing room. They don't like being crowded. You see, this is the same plant. It's the same. I planted 1 gallon lavender just like this one, but this has grown bigger. And I see this the lavender. It's just, I'm sure everybody knows what lavender is, but probably not the ones in India. My friends watching from India, you must have heard about it, but this is how it looks. We have these lavender fields where the whole farm, the field is full of lavenders. And if you look up, you Google search, it's just a beautiful site, and you go there and it's just you're immersed in their scent. And what they do, they use the lavender even even the leaves, and use it to make oils, and they use them in a lot of products, oils, even soaps, shampoos, like less frequently, but they use them in a lot of beauty products. And they use them for, it's supposedly very good for sleep, so it's used for that purpose too. And when they dry, it's not just fresh, like you can after it's dried up, just what I do when they're fresh, I just cut them here, put them in a tiny vase with a little bit of water in it, and I like to put it on my night table, or when I have guests, I put them in the room. Put one day before I leave that lavender in the room, and the whole room has this magnificent scent, and it's very soothing, calming. See, so there's plenty, and in a couple of years time this whole thing would be covered. And I'll show you another thing here. I planted this rose in early spring. That's when that's the best time to plant roses, although you can plant them in fall too, but early spring is the best time. And see how beautiful the roses. Okay, this is starting out. You see the petals, they have dark pink outer margin, and then it's lighter inside. As the sun hits them, and as long as they live during that time, that darkness fades. You see this one, this has been, I think probably it's been around for a week, so you can see that it's lighter. And this, I bought a 2-gallon pot because this particular rose wasn't available any bigger size, and I was thinking, oh god, this is gonna take a couple of years. But despite its tiny size, and this is just so gorgeous, I'm so in love with this rose. Look at this. They're not big, as you can see when I hold it in my palm. You can see that they're not that big compared to the other roses I have, but they're magnificent. So when it grows more, I'll stake them, the branches, so then you can see the flowers better. Now they're kind of not showing very well unless you get close. And also this grows up to 4 foot, not more than 4 feet tall. I intend to keep it not higher than 2.5 to 3, because I planted it almost at the outer border, and I'm going to get another one here. I'm going to plant one more here, so when in a couple of years time we can prune them, so just so they stay like bushes and not grow too tall. Because the reason is because, see, these black-eyed Susans, they're called black-eyed Susans, and that's just because the eyes are black. They're perennials. They come every year. They die down. They don't die down, but they kind of they take rest, like hibernation for some animals. After they dried, we snip them, till the ground, and until next season, and then they start sprouting during springtime. And now this is midsummer. Now they're in full bloom. It'll still keep blooming for a while. And I planted like these. There must be about 30 plants in here. I must have planted about 20, and they spread so nicely. They propagate. So if you have them for a couple of years, you can see a little bit of extra, the new plants around. So, and it's so easy. Like, you can give them to your friends, and it's just easy. Like, this is one of the plants that you can easily share without losing your original whatever you planted. And this is new, okay. And I gave a bunch of them to my sister to plant in her yard. And you see this, I left it because it already grew and I saw buds, so I didn't, I just left it. But see how from there, you see, all the way here, so it has propagated and made, you can see one more here. I'll take them out next year and make sure the border doesn't, like, just see how beautifully it shows when they're in groups and in a line. So that's what I was doing. And these dahlias, I planted about 12 of them, and maybe more. And the bunnies ate all the bulbs, and some were destroyed by my dog and this year. And some I took out because they were too tall and they were kind of covering this. Plants should always be, for those of you that have less knowledge about the back. You see, at the back, the tallest plants, tallest trees will be at the back, and then the next height will be somewhere, the medium height ones go, and then the next height, and then the next height, and then come down to the border. So that the layering or planting them in that order, you can see all the plants, like the back ones you can see, and it's just the way people do it. And I don't know where I picked it up, and I think I'm watching a lot of videos and going through tons of books about gardening. I've got about 20 books on gardening, and I'm still learning, because there's always, I find new plants that I haven't had before, so I buy them. And I think there's one more dahlia here. So out of 20, I only have 2 left this year. But again, they're usually they need to be moved in because they don't survive the frost. And some of them that I took out, I planned to save them, but then I didn't. I forgot to keep them moist, and then they died. And so some of them I killed basically. So I can't blame my dog or bunnies. These two, they survived the harsh winter. We had a very bad winter, but they survived. So it looks like they're fighters. These also, they propagate new bulbs form, but they take longer, but they do propagate. And this is a succulent. Most of the time these succulents you see drier climates, they grow in the drier climates, and there's so many varieties. But there are few that grow in our climate during summertime. They're perennials. You won't see them at the end of the season, and then by early spring they'll start shooting up. You'll start seeing them sprouting and then make leaves. I want to show you, like, we have so many bees. My first most important criteria when I plant anything in the garden is that they should be attractive to the bees and other pollinators. So you see, like, they're going away when I can see there's one. And if I count the bees right now in my yard, I won't be able to count. There's so many of them. And if I keep some blueberries or in here, I could make my own honey, but I don't like making honey, and I think that's one thing I don't like. You just think about how hard these bees work, and they deserve to have all of it, and I don't make or eat honey. This plant had pink flowers, and they're dead. This is a perennial that will come back. I prefer perennials from the mid height to the border height. Then I don't have to worry about planting them every season. But I still like annuals. My husband loves annuals, so because they only last for 3 months and then you have to buy them again every year and they're expensive, I don't personally want to do that. But because he loves them, he says no, you have to get them. So I get them. I'll show you those perennials later, those annuals later. These are daylilies. They're also almost when they're done. And this one here, you see, these again have so many bees. And see, this is almost like a mid-sized tree. See how tall it grows. I didn't know when I planted, I didn't know how tall it's gonna grow. And this is a perennial too. Now if I knew, I would have planted it behind where we could see the tops, the flowers, but I could not move it. The root system is very strong, and I didn't want to disturb it. Because of that, you can see the formula, the plan I was talking about. This covers the plants behind. See, you can't see until you come closer. So that's, but I don't know, I can't move this because it might die. At least part of it might die, so I'm scared to move it. That's one thing I learned when you plant when you get new plants, you have to do some research on how they're gonna spread. I do that, but for some reason this one I didn't, and it just surprised me. This is also, these are beautiful. These are called daisies. They're white and they're also done. See, you can see them. And this one too, really bright pink. I think you call it magenta. They're also done. Yeah, this is the original color. They dried up. Because the video gets really too long, so I'm going to stop and then make another video. Thanks for watching.